Hello everyone and welcome to Andy Shed Live. This is Series 12, episode number 9 for Sunday the 5th of March 2023. Hello there everybody, and how are you? I hope you are well this Sunday evening. Welcome to the show. We're running a bit late, 2 to 4. We couldn't be early that many times, could we? No, that just wouldn't do. Just need to move my camera a bit. It's a bit wonky, I've just noticed. Yeah, can't be wonky cameras, can we? No, that's better. I think that's better. Hello and welcome to the show. Who have we got here with us in the chat? Christopher's here, Christopher 2000. Penfold's here, Wesley's here, Dominic's here, Miguet's here, and Gambo's here. Evening all. Nice to see you all. If you are out there watching this by any chance and you are not in the chat, then get on over onto YouTube and you can find us in the live chat there. Christopher says, Andy, did you see my email of the Australia telephone exchange? No, I haven't, Christopher. I've not seen that at all. That has not got here, that. Gambo says, only on a leap year that might happen. What, me being on time? Yeah, I don't do on time. I think it's a leap year next year, isn't it? I think it's a leap year next year, yeah. But, right, yeah. I'm just getting myself organised. While I do get myself organised, I'll just remind you all about the stuff that I always remind you about, like the forum, gpotelephones.proboards.com, that we have, and also remind you of the website, andyshed.coldpress.net, and that's the way to get hold of us if you want to get in touch. Right, coming back on me. Oi, me please. That's it, that's the one. Pressing the wrong button now. So, what's been happening this week? Well, lots of stuff behind the scenes has been happening, but not much that I can actually show you as yet, because sort of nothing's arrived this week. That it's been a horrible working week this week. Just loads and loads of work and nothing to show for it, sort of thing. So it's not been the best week in that respect. I do have one thing to show for my working week though. I do have one item that I can show you. And the item I can show you is this. Can't remember if I showed you this last week or not. I don't think I did, because I don't think I had it last week. Or at least it wasn't in one piece. Does anybody know what that is? If I showed you last week, you will know, of course, won't you? Oh, Pooper Scooper's here as well. Hello, Pooper. Yeah. Does anybody know what that is? Are we in focus? A little bit out of focus. There, is that better? Now, these bits attached to it, but I've not attached them yet. This is all 3D printed on my Creality Ender 3. If you want to know what I printed it on, but those bits attach to this. So that bit goes in there. I'm not going to put it in because I did put it in and I couldn't get it out again a minute ago. And that bit eventually will go on there like that. Right, and to give you another clue, it opens like that. Anybody know what it is? If you were around in the late 70s, early 80s in the UK, you might recognise this, but it's the wrong colour because it needs painting. But if you know what it is, leave us a comment or something. If you've got any idea at all what that is, we'll let you know when somebody gets it right. Wesley says it's off Blake 7. Um, it's a yes. Wesley has seen it because being a patron, the patrons have seen it earlier in the week. But yeah, this is a teleport bracelet from the first 3 series of the Blake 7 TV show in the UK, which I think made it. I think it goes out in America as well. Blake 7, I think. But this is. I'm just amazed how well it works for a 3D printed version. It shuts with a really satisfying clunk. But these are normally brown. Leslie Judd on Blue Peter, UK kids TV show Blue Peter, famously at the time made one of these out of a pop bottle. But her one didn't open. This one opens like the ones on the show did. It's got a hinge in it. And what's really impressed me about this 3D printed version, obviously the originals weren't 3D printed because 3D printers didn't exist then. But what's really impressed me about this, even the hinge in this is 3D printed. Super impressive, and everything just fits onto it. So I shall be getting this painted up soon, and yeah, and there you have it, a liberated teleport bracelet of Blake 7. And for anybody who's wondering, the ones in Series 4, they changed Spaceship on Series 4, and they had a different type of teleport bracelet which was nowhere near as good as this one. But yeah, that's the famous liberated teleporter bracelet from Blake 7. I could not believe it when I found the 3D print files for it. I thought, I've got to make one of those. So I did, and there it is. So it wants me to paint it now, and apparently they were painted with metallic brown car paint that you could buy out of Halfords. Apparently that's what the BBC used on them. So yeah, so there is the teleport bracelet. So yeah, the patrons saw it earlier in the week. I saw a little post about it, but it's just the way it clicks. I really like it. It's just superb. Right, what's everybody up to in the chat? Christopher says something's happening to the exchange here in Australia. Telstra are shutting down pulse dialing. So I just sent the email to you again. No, it's not arrived yet because it's not gone ping. Wesley says that thing's an intergalactic ankle tag. No, it's a wrist tag. Perifor says you just need to find a gravel quarry and paint your wellies silver to complete the look. Yes, probably, yeah. It's very good though. It does actually sort of, yeah, you know. So yeah, that's what I've been up to this week. I've been messing with that all week trying to put it together. What has everybody else been up to? Oh yeah, we're in the realms of vintage sewing machines as well this week. There's a humongous vintage sewing machine coming. A thing called a Singer Patcher, which is basically a leatherworking machine that I've got to go and collect probably next weekend. So I've got to go and collect that. Also been over at the radio station. The radio station is coming along. It is now almost on air. It is various things for the broadcast side of the radio station are now being tested. So we are testing out servers and things to actually serve the stream from the station to the audience, and we've had a bit of problem finding a server that could do it, and the people who supplied the hosting and the server didn't really know how to set it up. Their technical helpline was a bit hopeless, so we had to kind of figure it out for ourselves, which is what we have done now, and I think we're getting somewhere with it. But I hesitate to say this, but I think maybe a month and we might be on air. Might be on air in about a month or so. But we are still looking for people to do shows on the station. You can either come into the studio at Plesley Vale and do it, or you can do it remotely if you want from home, but we're still looking for people to do shows. If you want to do a show, get in touch with us through the website, andyshed.colepress.net, and click on the contact us thing. We're still looking for people to do quality shows for the radio station on there. Wesley says a new service from our incumbent telco in the UK, BT. They won't allow pulse dialing either, Christopher. I've mentioned it on here before. I don't know. You're telling me something here, Wesley. I've said this before, I think. You're telling me something here that has not come to light as far as I'm concerned yet. But maybe they've not got that far, not got as far as me yet with it. But at the moment, for me, pulse dialing still works. It doesn't matter when it doesn't, anyway, because everything I do goes out through a PBX, which does pulse the tone conversion anyway. So it goes as pulses as far as the PBX that's down on the floor down here, and then it goes out as tone. So it won't make much difference to me, luckily. And that may be the way around it for you, Christopher. Go via a PBX, it does pulse the tone conversion. Wesley says it's easily soldered for him with a pulse to DTMF converter. Yeah. He says use Virgin. Pulse is still available on Virgin. It says, and Pulse is still, BT Pulse is still working there. Yeah, it is here as well. I can't see why they have to take the pulse dialing ability away. Whatever equipment in the exchange is listening for the tones, I'm sure can equally easily listen for pulses. So I don't see any reason to take it away. And it did used to be, and obviously it's not now if what Wesley's saying is correct, but it did used to be that any new technology had to be backwards compatible on the UK telephone network. Christopher says, I'm using a PABX for my GPO phones to do the pulse of ETMF on my landline. I'm not bothered if pulse works, which is exactly what I've just said. He says, I'm not bothered if pulse works or not on my landline. So yours, interesting stuff it is, but we'll find a way around it. We'll find a way of keeping going with the old dial phones. It certainly doesn't seem to be stopping people from wanting them. Looking at the prices of them on eBay just recently, they're just absolutely insane, the price of the phones on eBay at these days. Maybe it's this show, maybe we've made them too popular. Penfold says, when you look at it, pulse dialing is actually digital. Tone dialing is analog. Yeah, it is. That's the stupid thing about it. As you said, there won't be any local exchanges when it's all done through flickering light. No, probably not. But, I don't know. Will there be any telephone system? Will it all just be online? Will all our phones just come through the internet? You know, we have our internet connections, or whatever that may be, and maybe our internet connections will be cellular or wireless or something. Who knows? It's the way it's going. But yeah, I'm not very keen on the modern world. Yeah, I'm thinking of going on one of Elon Musk's space rockets and colonising Mars. Yeah, get away, get off this planet. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not keen on the way it's all going. I'm bucking the trend. I'm bucking the trend with sort of old stuff off eBay at the minute. Oh, Michael T's joined us. Hi, Michael. Nice to see you. Back with us once again. We've got a good selection of people on here tonight. Yeah, quite a few folk on there. Yeah, right. What was I doing here? Yeah, projects that are on the go at the minute. We've not really got much going on in the way of projects. We've still got this phone here that I got from Andrew a little while back in the new year. This thing. This came from Andrew in Wales, whose collection of phones you may have seen on the little video on here a few weeks ago. This he got sort of surplus to requirements. He said, "Do you want this?" So we came back from Wales with this in the car, and it's quite a thing. It says KTAS on it, and I've seen these handsets before. I'm sure I've seen these handsets before. I'm sure these handsets are not as old as you think they are, these handsets, but the rest of the phone looks as if it might be. And it's a bit of an oddball thing, this. It's a windy uppy job. But I think there's things missing on this, because if you unscrew this, you've got that, but you've got no sort of diaphragm on the top of it, which I think you probably should have. In fact, I'm pretty sure you should have. So that appears to be missing, but it does look old inside this. But what kind of upsets the thing is the other end of it. It's this end, because this sort of horn thing has got a whopping great sort of plastic moulding line down it there, and it just doesn't look very well finished. You know, I'm almost tempted to say, if it really was old, it would be better finished than this. And everything on it goes around, rather than this horn bit coming off. Which seems a little strange. Let's have a Yep, that does not want to undo off there. Oh, does that undo? No, I think it just goes round and round and round. But it's really not. What does that say on there? It says something on there. And I can't read it because of the lights in it. Nope, can't read it at all, but I'm just a bit suspicious about it and its true age, perhaps. So yeah, not sure about it. But let's have a little look at this. I mean, I bet I can't undo that with such a small screwdriver. Oh, I can. That's interesting. But I can actually undo that. Can I then remove the handle? I can remove the handle. So that means I might eventually have a shot at getting the case off this. You can unscrew that as well. That all lifts off. Admit the case isn't attached with anything actually, but that it just won't go over that. Otherwise the case would come off. It won't go over that there. But otherwise it's actually attached to diddly squat. But stupidly that handle attaches in such a way that you can't get the case off because it's still a bit stuck out. Well, that's mental. How are you supposed to get that out? I have no idea. But I'm pretty sure you are supposed to get it out. But you just can't. Get that off there. It ain't happening. That's weird. So if anybody knows how to get that off there, let me know. Drop me a comment or something. Tell me what I'm missing. Because I'm reckoning that should come off there relatively easily. But it doesn't seem to want to. Right, I'll put it back together for now because I can't get any further with it. How very odd. And that's a bit bent as well. Right, we'll stick it back together till somebody comes up with a genius idea of how that might go. If you know, get in touch. If you've got any idea how that goes together, get in touch with us. If you know anything about these. See, this doesn't seem to be the right handset because it catches on the top of there as well. It's just something not right going on with this. Something generally not right with the whole thing. Yeah. Just not sure what. But yeah, it's just not, to me, not as it should be, because that catches on there, you see. So I don't think that's the right handset for it. Let us know, get in touch. Drop us a comment if you've got any ideas. Oh, right, I'm going to put it back down here. Out of the way. Well, relatively out of the way. There's so much stuff. Excuse me one moment. What's everybody saying in the chat? Dominic says, how are the candlesticks going? They're not at the minute, Dominic. I've not done anything else to them. But they are still here. Waiting cords at the minute. I've got to get around to doing some lighting cords for them. And also cords for the earpiece as well. Christopher says, I've not used a DTMF telephone for 7 years. Only my 746L. Michael T says, I love eBay, my record collection. You collect your vinyl, Michael. Pooper Scooper says, I will need to get a pulse to DTMF converter. Can anybody give me any info? Yes, don't buy one of the expensive converters. Don't buy a dial gizmo or a rotatone. Don't do it. All you need to do is get something like, get a small PABX box, like the one I've got down here, that you can put your incoming line into, and then you can take up to, I think it's around about 16 extensions off it. I've got a BT or Telecom, I think it was at the time, Revelation here that's doing it, but Panasonic, old Panasonic PBXs do it as well. I think they've all got 414. The ones that do it tend to have 414 in the numbers, you know, in the model number. But yeah, Panasonic 414. I've got a a BT Revelation, as I say, and it's been sat here wearing away for years, this Revelation, literally. It's attached to a bit of board that's supposed to be mounted on the wall, but it's not. It's just sort of leant up on the floor down here. And it's given great service for a good few years now. Penfold says many rural exchanges have had their toilets taken out, so they don't have to pay so much council tax on them. What cheapskates Openreach are, aren't they? If they make the small exchanges a big green box, they will not have to pay any council tax, and they'll be cheaper to run. Good point. Yeah, Penfold says most of the big exchanges are at 75% empty since the 80s, with the new tech removing all the personnel, but the council tax is still applied at the going rate on them. So I can see them taking away all the telephone exchanges then fairly soon. They'll be going the same way as the banks. Miguel says the handle is keyed in to that phone. He says put the screw back and it should come off. I'll try that later. You mean the whole handle should come off? Wesley says it's a pooper scoop. He says have a look at vintage telephony. They do a very neat pulse to tone adapter. I have one. It works great. Far better than fitting those rotor tones to each telephone. Yeah, that what you've got there then, Wesley, that will be a dial gizmo that I think are actually made in Australia. Christopher says I use a Panasonic TDA30 PBX for my phone. Right, is that's another one that does pulse to tone then, is it, Christopher? That's not one I've heard of. But I'm not a great expert on PBX, so it's not surprising I've not heard of it. But if you're telling us that's another one that does it, yeah, that's another one that does it. TDA30 is the PBX that Christopher uses, and that does pulse to tone, so that's a way around it. And the advantage of using a PBX to connect your old phones up is you can have lots of extensions all around your house and garden and things, and you can call other rooms and stuff like that. Or you can have two extensions together and you can dial from one to another to test telephones like I do here on a regular basis. I've got two extensions of my PBX here. I've got the black phone on the desk that you always see, which is, I can't turn that around to show you at the minute. But yeah, maybe I can. Hang on, I've got an idea. Hang on. Up here for thinking, down there for dancing. Right, hang on. I've got an idea. We may be able, if I can get this to work, to show you some of the things that we've got here. Right. Oh, it does work. Right. This is where the audio might go a bit funny for a minute, just bear with me. Right, can you hear me now? Does that all sound okay? Right. Right, I'll try and do this without the audio going absolutely berserk, which it sometimes does. So yeah, right. Here's the phone you normally see that's on my desk. Yeah, and up here is the one you don't see that's on the wall. Excuse the cobweb I've just noticed up there. But yeah, this one's on the wall. So the one on the desk, this one is 21. This is extension 21, and the one on the wall there, is that 22 or 23? Let's try ringing it. It doesn't ring very well though, that one on the wall, because I followed, I think it might be 22, that one. Yeah, it is. I can hear it trying to ring. I followed the instructions on British telephones online on how to wire that American phone, and basically their instructions are wrong, because it said about putting a resistor in, and you don't need a resistor in an American phone because they're 1 Ren anyway. But I've never got around to taking it out again, and the upshot of it is it's not got enough power to ring the bells, but I can use this one to ring the other phones. So if I go 20, there's no image on there. Oh, it's there. Right. Did you see all that, or did you not see it? Because I'd got no image. Did you guys see what I was doing there? I don't know if you saw or not. Right, hang on. How do I turn this around? Is it that? Yeah. I don't know if you saw or not. Let me have a look. It says the dial on the USA wall phone killed the channel. It says it's all gone quiet here. Are we back on again now? We should be back on again now. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Hello? I'm hoping we're back on again. Wesley says, so bugger all. Right, I'll do it again then, Wesley. All of a sudden, the shopkeeper appeared. Yes. Right, I'll do it again. Yes, so, phone, hang on, turn that round. That's it. Right, phone on the desk. There. I thought it was going to go again for a minute. This is 21, that is 22. If I dial on here, this is 20. I dial 22, that should ring. It doesn't ring though, and the reason it doesn't ring is I followed British Telephone's website and put a resistor in that, and it doesn't want a resistor in it because it's American and they're 1 ren anyway, so the sort of 1/4 of a ren probably that it's now getting isn't enough to ring the bells on it. But it does work, because if I actually ring this, and the observant will notice it's still got an American dial card in it, this, if I ring 21 on this, what? Oh, we're back. Why does it do that? Let me do that again, see if that does it again. Right. I think it may be me pressing a button on this handheld camera on my phone. Right. There you go, that's ringing now, you see. Yeah. And it'll stop ringing when I hang that back up like that. Cool. Yeah, you see? So it does work. Honestly, it works. Honestly, it does. So that's how it all works. And what I was saying about CNET, that is 2 telephone exchanges on CNET. That is Clown and Stavely on CNET. All inside an old HP thin client. So it's not even a new computer that they're in. It's a very ancient HP thin client. And there's the 2 phones, the Stavely exchange phone and the Clown exchange phone. So if you ring 290, if you're on CNET, if you're connected to us on CNET, on either Clown or Stavely exchanges, if you ring 290, which is the exchange phone, one of those will ring, which Christopher does occasionally, as I say, when he realises that I've done something wrong on the stream and he needs to get in touch with me. He spots it and rings in on those. But there they are. And don't ask me what the bit of circuit board is in that little pot. I don't know. It's just something, I think I was taking a little switch or something off it. But there you go. That's what it's all about. Right. Shall we see if we can go back onto the normal cameras now? Yeah. Because this camera makes you dizzy, doesn't it? Right. Just bear with me a second, because the audio might go a little bit funny just for a moment. And we're back in reality, I do believe. Right. How do I stop this now? Like that, I think. Right. Does that stop there? By the way, if you're wondering what bit of voodoo we use to do that, it's a thing called Larry's Broadcaster. The bit of software on the phone that does that. If you're a streamer yourself thinking, how do you do that, Andy? It's a thing called Larry's Broadcaster. and when you turn it off, it just goes blank like that. Right. Right, what is everybody up to in the old chat again? Penfold says next week's project is to remove the resistor on the USA wall phone. Yes, I could do with doing that, Penfold. Loose nut on the keyboard, says Wesley. Yeah. The keyboard that I've actually got here on this computer, I'll not show you because it's grotty and horrible and really absolutely filthy, this keyboard. But this keyboard is probably the oldest keyboard in the world on a computer that's still working. It's certainly at least 20 years old, this keyboard on this computer. All the rest of the computer's changed over the years, but the keyboard's stayed the same. Even the mouse has changed to an optical one, but the keyboard has stayed the same. It's at least 20 years old, this computer. It's all gone yellow and brown and horrible and whatnot, but it's a really nice tactile clicky keyboard. So yeah, it's a really ancient thing. Yeah, it says, what is CNET and does it cost? No, it doesn't cost me yet. I'll explain it in just a second. Penfold says, nice push button phones. Christopher says, yes, the Panasonic TDA30 does do pulse to tone. Pooper Scooper says he needs to get prepared for the big switch off. Right, yes, CNET. Right, we get asked what is CNET and what does it cost. There's a website you can go to, Wesley, which I think is ckts.info. That will explain a bit about what CNET is. It's ckts.info, I believe. I think that's right. Right, what is CNET? How can I explain it? CNET is, for all intents and purposes, it is a voice over IP, otherwise known as VoIP, telephone provider. So it is a provider where you connect your phones. Instead of plugging them into a master socket, you plug your phone into a device called an analog terminal adapter, and I've got one here that I can show you, like this. This is an analog terminal adapter. So you plug your telephones into there, and this one can do 2 telephones there on those 2 green ports. You plug your telephones into there, and you then plug from that blue thing there into your router. So this plugs into your normal internet router, and you plug your telephones into this, and basically what this does, as I say, it's called an analog terminal adapter, and that's fairly descriptive for what it does. It takes the analog signal from your phone, turns it into something the internet can understand, and sends it out through your router to a server somewhere. Now that server can be a VoIP provider like Vonage or somebody like that, or it can be CNET. Now the clever thing is, if it's CNET, what CNET does is CNET is distributed, so your little VoIP adapter goes to what CNET call an exchange, and various volunteers all over the world run CNET exchanges, and that's what the thing is on my windowsill, that black and silver box on the windowsill. That is a CNET exchange. It's actually got two CNET exchanges on it, the exchange for Clown and the exchange for Staveley. Right, now, so if you were to say, Andy, I want to run my phones on a number on Clown exchange, say, and yes, there really is a village here called Clown, yeah, I've heard all the jokes before, then what I do, I send you some settings to programming to this box, and when you've programmed this box on your windowsill, when you connect your phones into it and you try and make a phone call, it then goes from this box to your router out onto the internet, and where it then goes on the internet is to this box on my windowsill. So let's say Miguel, you wanted to call Christopher in Australia, because Christopher's on CNET. Christopher's got a number. So what happens is you plug your phone in here, you then dial the number that you know is Christopher's number. What happens is this box then connects you via the internet to the big box on my windowsill there. Well, I say big, relative terms, right? That thing on my windowsill is effectively a telephone exchange. So that reads then the number that you've dialed on your phone. And if you've dialed a number that is local to the box on my windowsill, which Christopher's are, because he's on my exchange, then the box on my windowsill connects your call directly to one of these boxes sitting on Christopher's windowsill, which then connects directly to one of Christopher's phones and makes it ring. Yeah? Now the clever bit about CNET is there's lots of people with these exchange boxes, these which are technically they're internet servers, but we call them exchanges. So if you dial a number that is not on my exchange, then your call still goes for your phone to this box, out onto the internet, then to my router here, and it still comes into my exchange here. But if it's on somebody else's exchange on CNET, my exchange then knows where it's got to send it, so it then goes back out through the internet again onto somebody else's exchange, and then from their exchange box on their windowsill to another one of these and to their phone. So all these people all around the world who have got these exchanges set up, these CNET exchanges, these CNET servers, they are all basically volunteers providing the service to anyone who wants to connect to them. Now the beauty is, because it's going across the internet and it's not going through copper cables, anybody can have a number on an exchange anywhere, so you don't really have to be local to that exchange. So Christopher in Australia has got a number on my exchange here, various other people has, Michael T, who's on here tonight, has, and various others. So that's what CNET is. Now the clever thing about CNET, or the interesting thing about CNET, is the numbering codes it uses, because it uses the old-fashioned UK numbering system. So whereas, for instance, if you were to dial Chesterfield in the modern world, and you wanted a phone on the real Chesterfield exchange out there on BT, you would dial 01246 as the dialing code. Not on CNET, because CNET is the old-fashioned way, before we had the ones, so you just dial 0246, not 01246, and then the number. And a lot of CNET numbers are still 3 or 4 digit numbers. So for instance, Clown and Staveley are 81 and 87, so you dial, and they are satellites off of Chesterfield, which is the nearest big place here. So on CNET you would dial 0246 87 and then a 3-digit number in either Clown or Staveley. So that is what CNET is. It is a digital replica of the old-fashioned telephone network, where you can still use your old-fashioned phone numbers. If maybe you had a 3 or 4-digit phone number, you can still have that phone number on CNET. So it's a modern facsimile of how it used to be. But all you need to get connected is you need somebody to host you on their exchange, and like I say, I already do various people, and you will need a thing called an analog terminal adapter. This one's made by Linksys. You can still get these. Linksys went out of business, but they still make these in China, but they just don't have the Linksys name on them anymore, because obviously some factory in China made these for Linksys and put the Linksys sticker on them, and when Linksys went out of business, the factory went, oh, good idea, we'll carry on making those and we'll flog them on eBay. So now you still get these, you'll still see these on eBay, they're quite common, but they don't have that Linksys name on anymore. The trouble with this particular type is it doesn't do pulse to tone conversion, so it only deals with tone dialing, this. So if you're using a PBX connected to your phones connect to your PBX, then your PBX line, instead of connecting into your GPO system or BT system as it is now, would connect into one of these green phone ports on here, and then into the blue one there you connect directly to your router, and then you'd be able to use your old-fashioned phones over CNET. And of course, as it's going over the internet, calls on CNET are free. So not only do mad phone enthusiasts and that like me use CNET, but it's also great for people who are phone enthusiasts who also have got things like kids at university, because they can always phone home. If you give the kids at university one of these and a phone, or you can even do it off an app on a mobile, on a cell phone, then they can always call home, and they can call home for free. If you've got a member of the family who spends hours and hours on the phone talking to Great Uncle Charlie in Outer Mongolia, then give your chatty member of the family a phone line over CNET, give Great Uncle Charlie out in Outer Mongolia one of these, and you can make your international phone call to him every night of the week for free, using your old telephones. So that is basically what CNET does and how it works. I'm aware I've not explained it very well, but go on ckts.info and you'll find out a bit more about it, hopefully on there. Right, Has anybody explained it in the chat better than me? Gambo says, Sandy, did you find the caseless phone that we voted on? I've not actually looked for it yet, Gambo. It's been a bit of a busy week, so I've not had a proper look yet. Dominic says, will Plesley Vale, i.e. the radio studio, be connected to CNET? Probably, Dominic. Yes, probably eventually. Yeah. Dominic says, I must try and sort out a connection to CNET sometime. Christopher says, I use a Grandstream HT802 with my Ericsson N1970B phones on CNET. I think we've really confused Pooper Scooper because he's just put a question mark. So, but yeah, the beauty of using a Grandstream phone, I'm glad Christopher's mentioned that, is a Grandstream ATA rather, not a Grandstream phone. If you forget about this Linksys ATA, if you use a Grandstream one, Grandstreams do pulse to tone conversion built in. So if you're not using anything to do pulse to tone conversion in your home, if you're not connected by a PBX, if you just want to plug a phone into CNET straight into one of these ports, if you get a Grandstream version, a sort of 502 or 602, 802, whatever, they will do apparently pulse to tone. So you can use a pulse dialing phone on a Grandstream version of this, but you can't do it on a Linksys one. So you need a Grandstream one to do it, to plug the phone directly in. Right, I hope I've explained that all right. And yeah, it says, thanks Andy, very helpful, we'll look into it. It's a bit technical. I'll grant you, CNET is a bit technical, and when I got set up, I had a guy called Ian Jolly helping me get set up with it. Now, Ian is one of the CNET pioneers, if you like. He introduced me to it and that, and he runs a lot of CNET exchanges from his home in Wales, and he is the CNET guru in the UK, if you like, and without his help I don't think I would have ever managed to get it set up originally, because it was complicated. But now it's complicated because I'm running the server here, and getting the server set up was complicated. Just to have an ATA and then have a number on somebody else's server or exchange, that is much more simple. And like I say, I forget who's got them actually on here now. I know Christopher's got one. In fact, Christopher's got a couple numbers, and various people. Just give a shout on here if you're set up on CNET, because I forget who's set up on it, because it's all automated, you see, and it sort of does it itself. But so I forget who's on it. But just stick something in the chat if you're on CNET. And of course nobody is doing, at least not yet anyway. Sure they will though. Yeah, so that is how CNET works. Like I say, ckts.info if you want to know more about it, and it's all quite clever stuff, but it does work. If Christopher's still there, Christopher, do you want to demonstrate and ring one of these phones? Ring 290 off one of your CNET phones, Christopher, and we'll see if it works. But yeah, I totally forget who's on it, because there's various people on it. Now Christopher says, yeah, I'll do it. He'll do it in a minute. You'll not be able to hear Christopher on here, but it will demonstrate the fact it works. Bear in mind, Christopher's in Australia, and I'm sat in the UK, I am working on something, hopefully, for in a couple of weeks' time perhaps, where you might be able to get CNET calls live onto the stream so you can hear them. I'm working on a bit of software that hopefully might do that on the computer. So you will be able to, hopefully, in 2 or 3 weeks' time perhaps, be able to ring in. But there you go. There you go. That's Christopher ringing this phone up here. Hello, Christopher. Hiya. You see, it's working, honestly. That's brilliant. It is clear as well, this tonight. It sounds like you're in the next room. Right. Oh, you changed the mic in it, have you? I'm having to relay what you're saying because nobody else can hear you, obviously, because you're only on the phone. So I'm kind of relaying what you're saying to me, so people aren't just getting one half of the conversation. But yeah, it sounds really good. I'm pleased to see it's still working. Yeah, so the ATA still worked even though it's been switched off. Because sometimes they do deregister themselves, don't they? I'm actually glad you've mentioned that, because the Achilles heel of these ATAs is I don't know about yours, but mine certainly has got a little wall walk transformer thing, because it runs it. Right, yeah, yours is a 5 volt one. Some's 5 volt, some's 12 volt. But the thing is, those transformers that give the ATA its power, those transformers sometimes die after a while, and you have to get. I see. Yeah, got it on USB. Right, I'm going to ring off anyway, Christopher, because it's a bit difficult for people to understand what we're having the conversation about. But nice to talk to you, and thanks for doing that to demonstrate it. Two, 3, 2. Right, on here. Right, I'll try it. Just bear with me one sec. So I'm just going to try and give Christopher a call on 232. So all I've done is dial 232 because he's local, he's on my exchange, and it's ringing. It's ringing. Yeah. If it works one way, I think it'll work the other way generally. Yeah, well, that I don't know about, and I've still not got to the bottom of that. Yeah, we'll try that next time. Yeah, right. I'll speak to you soon, Christopher. Thanks for doing that for us. Cheers. Bye. That's Christopher 2000 there, all the way in Australia. And, it's getting more like multicoloured swap shop every day, this programme. Right, so you see there, that is a live demo. I know you couldn't hear him, but that is a live demo of C there. It really did sound like he was in the next room. The call quality on that was fantastic. Bearing in mind that it's going over a domestic broadband connection here, which is the same as this stream is going over. There were two quite hefty things there going over the broadband together. Gambo says, I've still to test out my BT Ultimate 106 PABX. Only got it back in October after looking and pestering poor Wesley for one. Yeah, try it, Gambo. Yeah, try it out. Yeah, see how it goes. It's not one I know that, BT Ultimate 106, but like I say, I'm not a great expert in them. There's so many different ones. I'm not a great expert, but they broadly all do the same sort of thing. But it's just that some do pulse to tone, some don't. But I think generally if you get a fairly old one, they are more likely to do pulse to tone. Right. Yeah. Crikey. I think we've about covered it really for today now. Yeah. But that's CNET for you anyway. And like I say, hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks' time, we might have a way of being able to route CNET calls into this computer that's doing this stream, so you can actually hear who's on the other end of the phone, which would be amazing, wouldn't it, if we could do that? That'd just be really good. Then it really would be like Swap Shop. Right. Have we cracked it? I think we probably have, and I think that is probably about as far as we go for today, because I've run out of stuff. Like I say, it's been a busy work week this week in the day job, so I've not actually got much telephone stuff or anything done this week, and also the radio station's been, well, we've been progressing a bit with it, let's say, and we're hoping that's going to be on air relatively soon. So watch out for more about how to build a radio station. If you're interested in those videos, watch out for more of those coming fairly soon. I've got to go and do an absolute ton of dog walking this week, so I will drag myself on hands and knees back to the computer same time next Sunday, hopefully, for another Andy Shed Live. But until then, have a fantastic week ahead, everybody. And yeah, I will hopefully see you same time, same place, 6:30-ish, note the ish, next week for another Andy Shed Live. But for me, for now, have a good one, and we'll see you soon. Bye everybody.